if you're our age, you've been a Flyers fan since day one. The names Perrant and Favell are legendary names, obviously. How cool is it that these days, and all these years later, Bernie and Doug's kids, Kim and Corey, have teamed up for their own hockey podcast. And we've got them both here today. As long as we find Kim, we got Corey waiting for us.
That's Doug and Bernie that you're seeing on our screen if you're watching the video version. And then, we're going to have a couple of their offspring joining us. And let's do that, Bill.
Let's go ahead and welcome Corey Favell on, and we'll get Kim on with us just as soon as she shows up. Corey, welcome for your first time to Philly Pressbox Radio.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Corey.
Looks like Kim hung me out to dry for a little bit here.
Oh, yeah, what's going on, man? Boy. Yeah. Hey, congratulations. Congratulations on the debut of your podcast, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, it was an exciting day. So, we're excited to talk about it. And like I said, Kim and I both have 5 kids each, so she might be dealing with a little something on
Oh, my goodness. So. I did not know that.
She might be busy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Corey, it is great to meet you. We're going to talk about your new podcast in just a little bit and your famous fathers. But I don't know. Do you still follow the Flyers, or do you follow the Maple Leafs? Or are you just a fan of the NHL in general? Who do you root for these days?
Well, my dad is a member of both the alumni associations with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Philadelphia Flyers. We're pretty force-fed here in Niagara and Ontario, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I love them. You see it so much. I'm rooting for them, but my heart's always been in Philadelphia. I've always followed the Flyers. They've always been my team. So, I root for the Flyers. But up here, like I said, we're force-fed the Maple Leafs, so kind of forced to love the Leafs too. So
I understand.
Yeah.
There is Miss Kim Perrant. Kim, welcome back to Philly Pressbox Radio.
Hi, sorry, my computer wouldn't let me open it.
Oh,
I'm on my phone here, so I hope this works.
This will be fine. This will be fine. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, Kim, Corey let the cat out of the bag. We did not know that you had 5 children. He said you might have been a little bit tied up.
You didn't know that? I thought everybody knew that.
I thought you only had 4. I must have lost track of one.
Yeah, it's easy to lose track.
Well, Kim, I got to tell you, I watched the debut episode today. Doc Emrick. First of all, Doc is amazing. I loved the documentary that NBC Sports put out recently. That was terrific. And you got to sit down with him for a half hour. I watched the episode today. He is great, and I'm sure he's got even more and more great stories. But how cool was it to talk to Doc, who's a legend in the broadcasting business?
Oh, it was great. Like I've met him when I was younger, and then, just a couple of times as an adult, but I never had a chance to just sit down and chat with him like that. So it was a lot of fun. And, we were happy that, he agreed to be on with us and have him be our opening episode. So it was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Well, hey, you guys, obviously you're connected by your father's, names and all that, but how did you two get together and ultimately decide, hey, let's do this podcast gig? It could be a lot of fun.
Cora?
Like I said, it's been, Kim and I, met about 3 years ago, and we've always stayed in pretty close contact. And the last year with COVID and a lot of the lockdowns and the restrictions, we picked up the communications a lot more, and it was just something. We had some really good stories between the two of us, and we thought, man, this might be neat to reach out to some of the other kids who grew up with fathers that played in the NHL, and just started reminiscing, telling these stories, and just seemed like the perfect timing to kind of get out there. And we thought it was interesting. Like I said, we both have 5 kids. The U.S. to Canada kind of difference is raising families, and so we just wanted to kind of share that with everybody.
Well, let me just say, for people who have 5 kids, you both look like you have held up pretty well.
A lot of healthy eating and exercise,
I have 2 kids, and look what happened to me. Hey, Corey, in addition to having Doc Emrick mention this, I have read this in the past. Is it true that your dad, Doug Favell, was one of the first, or maybe the first guy to paint his goalie mask?
Yeah, that's correct. Like I said, Jerry Cheevers and my dad grew up together kind of in the same city. Jerry's a little bit older, but so they still kind of, you know, give it to each other about who had the first painted one. Jerry had the stitches. And then, like they said, that Halloween night game, my dad just, I think him and Frank Lewis came up with a plan to, let's just paint it orange.
Yeah.
And yeah, he came out Halloween night with the Great Pumpkin mask. And I always remember growing up with, you know, Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin. That was always that was something that kind of always stuck with me. And, you know, like I said, his numbers weren't going to get him into the Hall of Fame like Kim's dad, but hey, his mask somehow managed to slide in there. So that's it's a pretty cool story.
Hey, I wanted to throw this up here behind me. It's got me in it, unfortunately. But what about this hockey card? Look at that threesome right there, huh? Bernie and Doug.
Three
How
greats.
How cool is that hockey card of Bernie Perron and Doug Favell? You guys have a few of those in your collections?
Oh,
yeah, they're all floating around. It's funny because my mom has tubs and tubs and tubs of pictures and newspaper articles and cards and everything from over the years. And going through this stuff, there's a lot of that, you know, little gems finding back there. So, but there's a, you know, our dads have such a history together. They played together for so long before the NHL, and which is pretty rare. So they have like a really cool history that goes back way before the Flyers, which I didn't even really know until Corey and I started talking.
Yeah, one of you guys posted recently a picture of Doug and Bernie from the mid-'60s when they were both with, I guess, the Niagara Falls Flyers. And, of course, the Flyers were actually affiliated with the Bruins. And then, of course, they ended up as teammates with the Flyers. So they do go back to the mid-'60s. And I want to ask, I guess, Corey, when was this picture taken? Was this at the Winter Classic, or was this more recent? I
think that was probably the 40th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
It might be the 50th anniversary. Don't quote me on that, but by the looks of the jerseys, that might be the 40th or maybe the 50th anniversary.
So yeah, okay. I'm guessing 2017.
Yeah, that sounds about correct. But
all right,
like I said, after meeting Kim, a lot of these photos start appearing now. Where growing up, my grandparents always had a big rec room downstairs with all my father's masks, and it was funny because there was always, growing up, pictures of, it was always Bernie Perron, Doug Favell, and there were so many pictures of Bernie and my dad, and that's when, you know, it kind of came to fruition that, oh geez, Kim and I are the exact same age, we have 5 kids, how along the lines did we not cross paths? Which find out, you know, maybe we did at some point, but you know, it's just kind of, that name's been in my family for a long time, and it was neat just talking to Kim and kind of connecting it all. So.
And our dads were born the same year, 2 days apart, and Corey and I were born the same year, exactly 6 weeks apart, both their second children. So it's just, there's so many like ties and similarities.
I saw that post.
Ages, like it's really cool.
Wow. Now, are the dads still good friends, or they just kind of get together at alumni, or are they kind of talking buddies?
I think they see each other at alumni a lot. It's one of those, I think when they connect, it's like, you know, they never left paths. It's, you know, they connect, and it's, you know, kind of like when best friends hook up again. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, the last year they've kind of canceled a lot of the events and stuff. So yeah, we're hoping to get them together a little bit more. So.
But it was nice. Like the last time they did have a nice long conversation, I talked to my dad. He said he actually, you know, got emotional and misty-eyed because, you know, they go back, they grew up together for, you know, what, 6 years, was it, Corey? So, you know, my dad just loves every time he gets a chance to talk to him.
Well, we all know as Flyers fans that the number 1 is retired because Bernie wore that number. But of course, Doug Favell actually wore that number before Bernie. And then, you know, Bernie left town for a while and came back to the Flyers. I guess, is that when he claimed number 1? And how does Doug feel about sharing that number 1 eventually with Bernie?
Yeah, because he was 30. And then when he came back from Toronto, then he was number 1.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it stemmed from Niagara Falls Flyers days, because I think your dad was number 30 with Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever won before.
No.
Yeah.
So I think I think maybe that just kind of carried on, and then, you know, the trade, Bernie took number 1. Thank God he, you know, his numbers put the jersey up in the rafters so no one else can wear it again. So
yeah.
So tell us about the podcast. You had your debut today, as said, with Mike Emrick. You've got several others that you've already got in the can, ready to go, I think. So tell us where people can find us. Tell us who your guests have been and how often you're on, and give us all the details.
Well, it's going to be every Wednesday. A new one's going to drop. We're learning the lingo. Like we always say air and tune in and all that. So we're learning quickly that that's not how to say it.
It's going to drop, yeah.
Yeah, we're learning. Yeah, we're totally new to this. So we like criticize ourselves and blah, blah, but it's fun. And we just love talking to our guests. We have Ray Sherrow, who is awesome. Like he was just funny and he's great. He's coming up next. And we have Lou Scheinfeld. We have a bunch of wives from the Stanley Cup era that are going to have a little reunion on our show.
Lauren Hart.
We have Chico Resch coming.
Oh, nice.
And Joe Bowen, the announcer up for the Maple Leafs forever, has been up there. So we have a long lineup coming for like the next 3-4 months. So a lot of fun, interesting people.
Now, I listened today on Spotify, but there's also a video version. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's going to come out on Friday. It's going to be on YouTube every week.
Okay.
And then obviously anywhere you can get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, it'll be available.
I'm looking at that picture because I didn't get to see it. That's cool. So Corey, a lot of the names that Kim mentioned are Flyers related. She's still in the Philadelphia area. Are you going to hit a lot of those Toronto area guys and people to get them in as well?
Oh, we got some Toronto people coming in. Yeah, we're going to really incorporate, connect the cities. Buffalo, there's some good history with the Sabres there.
Chris Osgood, we have coming on. So we're expanding. It's not just going to be a Flyers thing. It's more going to be NHL.
Okay.
Kim's just so lovable down there in Philly. Everybody likes her. So, she has someone on the show. Everyone, yeah, for sure. So,
And Kim, you're still, of course, very involved with the Oscar Strong thing and Biscuit Teas. How are things at Biscuit Teas these days? They're
going great. Obviously things slowed down with COVID and all of that, all our events and stuff that we normally do throughout the year. But things are going good and we're holding steady. We just started a new baby biscuit line. So we have like onesies and toddler teas and all that. So we're always, adding something new. But yeah, Jody and I are still at it. And I hope we'll be in the Wells Fargo again once things are back to kind of normal over there. So yeah, that's been going great.
Kim, if I may also ask about something that's not going great, that's this Flyers season. We were so excited going into this season because they were the #1 seed last year in that crazy seeded playoffs. And, they played okay, lost to the Islanders in the second round. But we thought, we have the goalie of the future, the next Bernie Perrant. Maybe they'll get to the finals this year. Looks like they're not even going to make the playoffs. Are you as disappointed as we are?
Oh, like heartbroken. And it did. We started off so great and everyone was so fired up and then kind of up and down after that. And then, like I say, the bottom just fell out. And I just feel like there's such a mental, especially for Carter and goaltenders, it's such a mental game and he's just off his mental game. He'll be back. We'll get him back. And he's still amazing and everything we thought he would be. It's just, unfortunate the way things went down and the team in front of him's not really helping the goalies out too much but it's definitely a disappointment because I love all the guys on this team and I was just really rooting for them.
All right, well, hey, we appreciate you guys coming by. If we can help you out in any way, let us know. We'll have you back as often as you want and anything you need from us, let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, all right, Corey, good to meet you for the first time as well.
It was great meeting you guys, and thanks so much for having us on. Appreciate it.
All right, take
Sorry
care.
I was late.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.